anything wrong with them. And they've even suggested that since there's a lot of fat babies, perhaps Crestor should be put in baby food.
Well, there's a lot of terrible stuff put in baby food and milk.
Yes.
Infiltrating of the food supply.
It's time we took back our rights of food and health. We don't have to have these forced vaccinations. We're trying to head that off. Although we do have a computer program that will tell you if you're going to have a problem. And we can help undo a lot of the damage. We have over 300 recovered autistics, and 2 of them are my grandchildren that were autistic from these stupid vaccinations.
You remind me of the female Royal Rife.
I would be honored to be in his footsteps.
I don't want you to be totally in his footsteps, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Not in the business realm. I want you to be in somebody else's footsteps in the business and industrial expression of what you're doing. But in terms of the domain and the area and the advancement that you're treading, you remind me of the female version of Royal Rife.
Incredibly honoring.
It really feels like it. And I would love for you to explain breaking the sound barriers of disease a little bit more and how you can identify nutrients in the body that it needs and how we can stop wasting our money on things we don't need.
What a wonderful question. I'll answer that with a story. And first preface it with even nutrients have a frequency that we can identify in the voice, and we've been able to do that by feeding people tons of vitamin C and seeing what their voice did and, every other nutrient. But there's a man called James Marshall, and he's an actor and a composer. He played in A Few Good Men, Twin Peaks, Gladiators, tons of movies and TV. And he took a medication, doctor prescription, called Accutane. And he ended up being in the hospital for nearly 2 years. When they released him from the hospital, he weighed less than 100 pounds. And this was a big, hulking He-Man kind of person. And certainly muscular. And they said, go home and die. We can't do anything for you. Well, in his depressed state, he was listening to Coast radio station one evening, and I was on there. George Norrie was very gracious.
He is gracious. He's wonderful.
To let me explain all of this and have people on. And James Marshall called me up the next day, and he said, this is my circumstance. Can you help? I said, I don't know, but I'm willing to try. So he sent me his vocal print. There's a free program that people can get called Audacity, Audacity, Audacity.
I use it and I love it.
And yes, and that's the one we use. We've calibrated our computer programs to it. He sent me his vocal prints, and I looked at them, and here's what was bothering him. Here was the foods he could eat. Here's the foods he can't eat. This is what he needs nutritionally. But he couldn't afford a tone box, and I couldn't afford to give him one. So
what is a tone box?
A tone box is something that external to you that provides the frequencies, much like a CD player.
How much are they?
It depends on what kind you get. You can, well, let's answer that question later.
Okay.
Because it's too complicated in the middle of the story.
Okay.
So I gave him the frequency, and he off-tuned his guitar, and he started playing these sounds that I gave him, holding his acoustic guitar next to his vowel. He's getting well. He's writing songs now. He's writing plays. He's back to acting. There's a big article coming out in the New York Times about him. But he's up to 140-some pounds, or he was last time I checked with him, gaining weight, thinking clear. His wife ended up taking our course and opening a Life Light Center in Los Angeles to help other people. But the neatest, most wonderful thing that this man did, he said, I want to help. What can I do to help you? You've saved my life. This is the medicine of the future. I said, I don't know of anything except I have all of these strange frequencies that are the antidotes to the swine flu. And we've proven it only on one family, and that family was a doctor. They had verified Tamiflu-resistant swine flu, and the frequencies pulled them out of it after he'd had this for so many weeks and getting worse and worse. I said, that's all I have, but I want the public to have these. And they're pathogens, so we really could do it with music, like Royal Rife. So he took all of these oddball antidotes. I say oddball because it was C sharp minus 12% and F plus 3%. You know, they didn't belong to the same scale. They didn't sound like they went together musically. And we put in resveratrol and vitamin D and all the things to support your body. And that man came up with a CD with all of these sounds, frequencies in it, notes that were not pure notes, but flat and sharp notes. And it sounds like an incredible, I don't even have a word for what it sounds like. Jazz. It sounds like jazz, like Jimi Hendrix jazz, maybe. But he has that on his website, musicmanjimmy.com, for people to download.
Wow, how beautiful.
Yes, it works with swine flu. It works with cold. It works with bronchitis. It works with sinusitis.
Respiratory stuff.
Download it and have it in their toolbox of things that they can use.
How extraordinary.
The reason I bring this part of this up is people can get the CD. But there is a large company out of Canada that tends to take nutrients out of the grain that they are producing and selling. And this is some of the work of Larry Trivieri, that they're taking out thiamine, B1. And thiamine is needed for you to be able to digest the wheat. And if the thiamine is not there, it produces allergies. And the allergies are what's causing all this sinusitis and bronchitis and lung crap and immune suppression. And this particular CD has that thiamine in it that'll help put that back.
This is truly, it's not just alternative. This is breakthrough science. And this sounds to me like a whole new universe and supply of solutions that are off the charts of the way we think about remedies and getting well.
That is awesome that you would say that. We are sitting here, we are scientists, but we are sitting on all of this information, and we really don't know how to get it to the public. We don't know how to get it funded to get it to the public. You know, you ask about prices. We have tone boxes from $149 up to $450.
Got it.
You have tone boxes for back pain, to get rid of fibromyalgia pain, to get rid of gout, to support your DNA, to get rid of body cramps. And then we have programmable ones that you can put a whole system of anything in. We have
kind of like an iTunes, but for the work that you're doing. Yes. Right?
We have one Fab Abs that really will get rid of stomach fat and all that. Now we're just using one BioBody that exercises your body at night, and we've already used it with a transducer, and we've already talked to 2 federal agencies about using this with NASA because it prevents bone loss and it prevents muscle atrophy. We don't know if it'll do it in weightless conditions, but we certainly want to try it. That's the biggest stumbling block to space travel, because the people lose their muscle and bones.
Yeah, I've heard that, actually.
So it's incredible what we can do. We need some angel investor who really believes in helping people to come in here and just market this and take it to the people and say, here, this is what you deserve. It is real. You know that thing on Star Trek, that little buzz up and down your arm and your bones healed?
Yes.
We already have it. We can already do that.
Explain it.
We discovered the frequencies that will set and heal a bone in record time. Just like on Star Trek, they had this little thing called the TriMaster. You know, and somebody'd go in the holodeck and break their arm, and they'd come back and run this little thing up and down their arm. Okay, you're healed. And we can do it. It takes us several days. We can't do it instantaneously. But we can certainly cut the healing time down for a broken bone.
Aren't people flying in all over the world to see you?
They are. One of them was a very famous doctor, bopped into